Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to picture something for a second. You're walking past a parking lot. Maybe it's at the airport. Maybe it's just down the street.
Hmm.
You look at it, and what do you see?
If you're like most people, you just see asphalt and metal. A red car here, blue one there. It's static. It's
Oh,
just stuff.
exactly. It's just background noise. But today, we're going to completely flip that script. We've got this stack of data from a peer-to-peer car-sharing fleet. It's a case study on Joe's Fleet, LLC. And we're going to prove that a parking lot, it's not a storage area. It's a living, breathing ecosystem.
It really is. I mean, when you stop looking at cars as just these depreciating piles of metal and start seeing them as active assets, they really start talking
Like
to
this
you.
whole story.
Yeah, and it's not a story about miles per gallon. It's a story about how people are actually living their lives right now in early 2026.
It's like a secret language.
Yeah.
And this specific case study we're diving into, it's fascinating because it's based on data from January. And, I mean, January is normally the hangover month of the year, right?
Oh, absolutely. In the logistics world, it's dead. Retail has crashed. The holiday rush is over. Everyone's paying off credit cards. It's what we call a sleepy logistics month.
But not for this fleet. This fleet is practically screaming at us.
Mm.
And on the surface, the source material, it just looks like a leaderboard. Which cars made the most money? But you've been digging into this, and you're saying it's actually a roadmap of suburban demand.
It's a direct window into the consumer psyche. It tells us who is moving, where they're going, why they're going, and, most importantly, what they're willing to pay a premium for when the weather turns.
And the car leading that story, the absolute winner for this period, is a vehicle the source describes in the best way possible. I laughed when I read this. It says the car is strolling into 2026 like a crowned SUV monarch wearing snow boots and sunglasses.
It's a great image, isn't it?
It's perfect. We're talking, of course, about the Nissan Pathfinder.
Mm.
So the mission for this deep dive is to figure out why. We're going to unpack what the source calls operator mechanics. We want to understand how seasonality and vehicle personalities and cars absolutely have personalities dictate where the money flows.
And I'll be here to keep us grounded in the data story. Because while the vibes are fun, the economics behind it all, specifically that battle between utilization and pricing power, that's what actually determines if an operator makes a profit.
Okay, so let's start at the top. The gold medalist, the Nissan Pathfinder. According to the data, this one car pulled in $514.61. Now, that might not sound like a lottery win, but in the car-sharing world, in January, that's huge.
It's very significant. And that revenue figure isn't an accident. It's not just luck. The Pathfinder represents a very specific kind of utility that becomes, the demand becomes inelastic in the winter months.
Inelastic.
Okay.
That's an econ term. Break that down for us.
It just means the demand doesn't really drop when you raise the price. In fact, in this case, the bad weather actually drives the demand up.
Yeah.
Think about the missions for this vehicle. Winter families, ski weekends, massive Costco hauls.
Oh, the Costco haul. I feel that one. You go in for milk and leave with a kayak and a 70-inch TV. You can't put that in a Prius.
Precisely. It's a capacity issue. But there's a deeper psychological layer here that the source highlights. It uses a phrase that I think just nails the suburban mindset. It says, for some renters, their love language is 3 rows of seating just in case.
Just in case. I love that. It's that anxiety, isn't it? Even if you're a family of 4, you want the 7-seater because what if the cousins visit? Or what if your kid brings friends to the ski slope?
It's purchasing optionality. You're buying peace of mind. You're paying for the possibility of needing that space. And from an operator's perspective, that commands a premium. And this brings us right to seasonality. The Pathfinder is feasting right now because we're in that winter to spring corridor.
Right. People are heading to the mountains, moving big things.
Exactly. And here's where the data gets really interesting. When I looked at the booking frequency, the Pathfinder doesn't necessarily have the highest utilization in the fleet.
Wait, explain that. You'd think the winner would be the car that's rented out every single day. If it's sitting there, it's losing money, right?
And not necessarily. And that's the critical difference between utilization and pricing power. The Pathfinder might sit empty on a random Tuesday. It's probably not the car you grab for a quick trip to the post office.
So it works smarter, not harder.
That's a great way to put it. It wins on revenue without working every single day because the demand for that specific capability, the snow boots and sunglasses, lets the operator charge more. If you need to get a family of 6 up a snowy driveway, you can't substitute that with a hatchback. You have to pay the rate.
It's the heavy hitter. It steps up to the plate less often, but when it does, it's a home run.
That's a fair analogy. It leverages high-value transactions over sheer volume.
Okay, so the Pathfinder's on the throne, ruling the winter, but there's a battle going on for second and third place, and this is where the personalities really start to clash. We have the Hyundai Venue and the Land Rover Discovery Sport.
The battle for silver, yeah, this is a classic contrast.
It feels like a total clash of aesthetics and budgets.
Yeah.
You've got the Venue, which the source calls the budget crossover. It's practical, it gets the job done.
And then you've got the Discovery Sport, which represents the luxury adventure aesthetic.
Luxury adventure aesthetic. That
Yeah.
just sounds expensive.
It's the short trip flex.
There's a great line in our notes for this. It says, one takes the weekenders to brunch, the other takes them to Vermont.
It perfectly captures the difference in intent. The Venue is for local errands, college visits, maybe a light weekend trip. It's a tool. The Discovery Sport, that's about projecting a certain image.
It's the difference between needing a ride and wanting an experience. You want to look like you own a country house, even if you're just renting an Airbnb for 2 days.
Precisely. But here's the risk for an operator. The Land Rover, yes, it commands a higher price. But the operating costs, maintenance, premium gas, just the anxiety of renting a luxury vehicle to strangers.
Oh, totally. If someone scratches a Hyundai Venue in a parking lot, it's annoying. If they scratch a Land Rover, it's a tragedy.
And a very expensive insurance claim. Yet they're fighting for the same revenue spot. This tells us that the utilization backbone that the Hyundai Venue provides is incredibly powerful.
Utilization backbone. That sounds like the unsung hero of the fleet.
It is. Unlike the high-priced Pathfinder, these smaller crossovers, they fill the weekdays. They get the long bookings 7-10 days at a time. They keep the cash flow steady when the big SUVs are sitting idle.
So while the Land Rover is waiting for someone who wants to flex for a weekend in Vermont,
The Venue is out there hustling, picking up groceries, taking kids to practice, just churning out the days. It stabilizes the cash flow. If you only had Pathfinders and Land Rovers, your income would be lumpy. Big spikes on weekends, nothing on weekdays. You need the Venue to smooth out that curve.
it's like an investment portfolio. You need the high-risk stocks, but you also need the steady bonds.
Ideally, yes. Now, moving down the list, we get to a group I find the most entertaining. The source calls them the personality hire, the mine eyes, the clubman and the Cooper S.
The cult personality cars. I love the term personality hire. In an office, that's the person who makes the vibe better, but in this fleet, they're actually profitable, right?
They are, but their profitability is highly seasonal, and it's very distinct from the Pathfinders.
Oh, how's that? If the Pathfinder is the winter king, are the MINIs the summer princes?
In a way, yeah. The data shows their peak season is April to October, so they're basically hibernating right now, just waiting for the sun to come out.
So the whole use case just shifts dramatically.
Completely. In winter, people want size and safety. But come spring, the demand shifts to city voyages, internships, relocations.
Relocations, that one stuck out to me. You'd move house in an MNI. You can't exactly fit a sofa in there.
You certainly can't. But think about the demographic. A young professional moving to a new city for a summer internship. They arrive with 2 suitcases. They don't need a moving van. They need a car to zip around, explore neighborhoods, park in tight spots.
The urban explorer.
Exactly. The Mennonite fits that vibe perfectly. It's fun to drive, easy to park, and, well, frankly, it looks cool. It's Instagrammable.
And because they have such a cult following, they attract a renter who is looking for that specific car.
That's the key. They aren't just looking for a car. They're filtering the app for a Mennonite. It competes with boredom. It's an emotional purchase.
So we have the responsible parent, the hardworking assistant, the influencer, and now the cool intern waiting for summer.
That's a pretty accurate cast of characters.
But we can't forget the rest of the crew. We have to talk about the supporting cast.
Yeah.
The Chevy Malibu and the Mitsubishi Mirage. Now, be honest. Nobody puts a poster of a Mitsubishi Mirage on their bedroom wall.
I would be very surprised if they did, yeah.
These are not dream cars. But the source calls them the heroes of the fleet.
The heroes of logistics, for sure.
They're described as cost-effective commuters, airport shuttles. But there's another use case mentioned that I think explains a lot about the world right now. It says, these cars are for when? My car's in the shop.
Yes. This is where we see a concept called elastic affordability colliding with global supply chain issues.
Okay, break that down. Elastic affordability. What does that mean for someone listening?
Well, elasticity is about how much demand changes when the price changes. For a vacation car, like the Land Rover, demand is elastic. If the price is too high, you just you don't go. But when your car breaks down on a Tuesday and you have to get to work on Wednesday,
You have no choice.
your demand is inelastic, you have to pay, you're a captive audience. And this is where the Malibu factor is so critical. These cars are for when the demand is driven by necessity, not desire. You're not looking to flex, you just need wheels.
You just need a solution.
And because, as the source notes, life doesn't wait for car shortages, these cars stay booked year-round. They're immune to seasonality because cars break down in November just as often as they do in July.
That's a really good point. The Pathfinder needs snow to be a star. The MII needs sun. The Malibu just needs someone to have a bad day with her own car.
And think about why that car is in the shop for so long these days.
Supply chain, right. Parts are missing.
Exactly. Repair times are stretching from 3 days to 3 weeks because some sensors on back order. If your transmission blows and the part is 3 weeks away, you need a rental for 21 days.
And you are not renting the Pathfinder for 21 days at $150 a day.
No, you're not. You need the cheapest, most reliable option. You need the Malibu. These cars become a life raft.
Wow. I have a newfound respect for the Chevy Malibu. It's the dependable friend who picks you up when you're stranded.
It's dependability monetized. The source compares them to employees who quietly show up, do the work, and get consistent performance reviews. They're the bedrock. They cover the fixed costs so the other cars can generate the profit.
So we've looked at the cars individually, but the source asks us to zoom out and look at the whole mobility ecosystem. It breaks trips down into these clusters: airport, ski weekend, family visit, business trip.
And this clustering is vital. It shows that a fleet isn't just a collection of assets, it's a response to human movement patterns.
And what's crazy, and we touched on this at the start, is that this entire leaderboard, this whole analysis, comes from January.
That is the anomaly.
January is supposed to be dead, a sleepy logistics month.
Traditionally, yes, there's no graduation season, holiday tourism is over. It's usually a lull where operators just do maintenance.
So why is this fleet seeing such strong numbers? The Pathfinder is crushing it. The Malibu is working overtime.
It suggests a shift in baseline demand, or maybe a localized inventory gap. Perhaps the big rental agencies sold off too much of their fleet and are now short on cars.
So the peer-to-peer market just picks up all the slack.
Exactly. But the implication, the prediction in the source, that's what's most exciting for any operator listening.
The prediction. I loved this line. Tell us about the prediction.
If the fleet is performing this well in sleepy old January, the prediction is that spring and summer are going to taste like lemon sorbet with espresso shots.
Lemon sorbet with espresso shots.
Ah.
I love that. High energy, high caffeine, refreshing returns.
It implies the floor has risen. If the bad months are this good, the good months could be unprecedented. It suggests people are moving more, traveling more, or maybe even owning fewer cars and relying on on-demand mobility.
A structural shift. People aren't buying that second car anymore. They're just renting one when they need it.
Which brings us to scaling. The source talks about how understanding these patterns, the insurance replacements, the inventory gaps, allows an owner to scale with confidence.
That's the difference between gambling and investing, isn't it?
It is. If you just buy a cool car and hope someone rents it, you're gambling. But if you see the Pathfinder works because of winter families and the Malibu works because of parts shortages, you can engineer your revenue. You stop guessing.
It changes the game from passive income to active logistics management. You're not just renting cars. You're solving logistics problems for people.
Precisely. You are filling the gaps left by big corporations and broken supply chains.
So let's wrap this up. We've seen the Pathfinder on its throne, boots on, sunglasses on, raking in cash because families need space.
We've seen the venue and discovery sport in that eternal battle between I need a ride and I want to look rich.
We've got the MNIs waiting for their internship summer.
And the Malibu and Mirage clocking in every day, doing the dirty work of keeping people moving when their own cars fail them.
It really drives home the point that peer-to-peer mobility is about so much more than tourism. The source sums it up perfectly. It's travel plus errands plus emergencies plus reunions plus logistics. It's the fabric of daily life.
It is. It's a mirror of how our society moves. Every rental is a person trying to get somewhere important.
Which brings me to a final thought for you, the listener. We talked a lot about that Malibu factor. These boring, practical cars, seeing consistent demand because of insurance replacements and car shortages.
It raises an incredibly important question about the macroeconomy.
It really does. If the boring cars are the heroes because people's daily drivers are stuck in the shop for rents, or new cars are too expensive, what does that say about the state of the new car market? What does it say about the reliability of modern vehicles?
Are we entering an era where keeping it running is actually more profitable than showing it off?
Are we moving away from the flex
Mm.
and back to pure function? It's something to think about next time you see a beige Chevy Malibu on the road. It might just be the hardest working asset in your city. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Safe travels.
We'll catch you on the next one.